Are you ready for an extreme makeover of the mind? With the producer and host of A Better You podcast, the transformational coach whose assignment is to challenge people to change, grow, and evolve into the individuals they were created to be. Here is Dr. Anthony McFarland, providing you with practical tools and wisdom for everyday life challenges for you to win in life, relationships, and finances.
Hey guys, Anthony McFarland here. In this episode, I want to talk to you about maybe the two biggest enemies to your life as well as your business endeavors, especially for you entrepreneurs out there. You know, truth be told, sometimes life gets the best of us. You get knocked down, and at least for a moment, you ask the question, do I really want to get back up? And the answer, of course, is yes, you do. Never allow something to knock you down and you don't pull from the resilience and your will and that mindset that you can overcome whatever the obstacle is. Maybe your struggle and setbacks seem insurmountable at the same time. But in reality, hey guys, Anthony McFarland here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for tuning in weekly. I have a huge favor to ask you before we jump into this episode. It is my goal to have at least 50% of the people that watch this channel be subscribers. It really helps us bring you amazing content. Just take a second, please, please, please. And I thank you in advance, and click like and subscribe. Of course, I always want you to share the content with others, but I really appreciate it, and it makes me really happy if you would be so kind to subscribe and click like right now. All right, let's go. They're not. They're really not. In fact, the things in life that were meant to derail you and knock you off your course may indeed be the stepping stones that lead to your most significant achievement, your highest satisfaction, and your greatest joy in life. Again, I've been there. I've done that. I bought the t-shirt. I rode the ride. I've had moments in my life where I just feel like, well, I don't even know if I want to get back up. In some respects, you know, you can feel just exhausted. You can feel like emptied out. Again, today, I want to deal with two big enemies that even most successful people don't talk about. The first enemy is emptiness. Emptiness, yes. Every now and then, your life can become dull, unproductive, and you feel like there is nothing you can do to change it. There's nothing that you can do to change the situation or the circumstance. It's nothing that you can do to even change a relationship, your work endeavors, which leads to this feeling of emptiness, which doesn't seem like a big issue at the onslaught, but it has a big impact on your life, whether you realize it or not. You know, feeling empty inside can make you feel like nothing matters. You might feel like there's nothing that connects you to other people and the world around you anymore. Why? Because life has kind of depleted you, right? Or you've hit this wall and you just feel empty. At times, you might even feel like you hardly exist. This feeling of hollowness, right? In your life can last a few days or weeks if you're going through a difficult time. However, some people have, let me say it like this, some people have feelings of emptiness that last for months and even years. And if you've been there or if you're there, I guarantee you this episode is for you. And if you haven't been there, I guarantee you, you're going to have a day where you feel like you're just emptied out. You have no more gas. If you're feeling empty inside, you may not even understand why you feel this way. Yeah, and you might be wondering if feelings of emptiness means that you're depressed in some way. Here's the reality. Feeling empty is a very complex emotional state, which is oftentimes linked to what's called numbness. It can stem from various causes, including stress, a significant loss of something or someone in your life, all the way to neglecting yourself, neglecting to do self-care. So while depression can be a sign of feeling empty inside, it's not the only reason. Another word for empty is feeling purposeless. Why? things just may not be working out the way you wanted them to. Desolate is another word for empty. Again, you just feel like you don't have any more gas in the tank. You feel like everything's been extracted out of your spirit, right? Like your life zapped in some respects. Or there's this word called vacant, like, hello, nobody's living here anymore, right? It's again, it's just like this, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling you. I'm not feeling my surroundings. I'm not feeling the hustle anymore, whatever it is. And so one of the things that we have to understand is that a sense of emptiness is related to feelings of hopelessness, loss of pleasure, and interest in things that once, man, gave you joy. And so feelings of like low self-esteem, and when you have moments where you feel like there's little motivation, this is why feeling empty or void is an enemy to your life or your purpose, your business endeavors. And so the big question is, why do I feel empty inside? I've had to ask myself when I experience that, why do I feel this way? What has transpired for me to feel this way? What's transpired for you to feel like you're just empty? Is it your relationship, work, being physically exhausted maybe? I've been there. A family member, friend, spouse, the kids, the dog, the frog, or maybe your parents or the next door neighbor. According to research, I did some research on this, it can be described as a complex negative emotional state that is experienced in different ways by different individuals. So it's different for everybody. Interestingly, researchers themselves have highlighted the difficulty in finding individuals who describe this experience in the same way. In essence, we would all describe feeling empty totally different. And that's why I chose to share those words with you, like vacant, right? Hello, I just don't feel like I'm not here, right? Not only is it quite an abstract phrase, but it represents a wide range of feelings that you may be experiencing, which includes lacking purpose or meaning in life, feeling numb, not actually knowing how you feel or knowing how to feel, preferring to be alone. That's a big one. That's a big sign of this emptiness, feeling neither happy nor sad, lack motivation. Have you been there? Have you experienced that? Feeling bored or disinterested? I'll never forget, I went to a prominent leader and had a session with him, and he said, I just have one question with you, because I was feeling empty. I was feeling like just void. I wasn't motivated, right? And I think the situations and circumstances that I had faced during that season of my life really just kind of depleted me. But I'll never forget him asking me this question: do you not want to get up and do it again? And I was like, that's a good question. But no, I want to get up and do it again. He said, that's good. He said, that's good. That's good. As long as you want to get up and do it again, as long as you want to get back up and go before the people, again, continue your assignment, that's a good sign. But again, when we deal with emptiness, it can be feelings like of being disconnected and detached from people, maybe even your loved ones. And so unlike other emotions, feeling empty can sometimes be described as simply not feeling an emotion at all. But even though this may sound strange, emptiness can be classed as an emotion despite perhaps not feeling anything at all. Again, back to that numbness that I was talking about. Whatever the reason or source, here's what you must do. Number one, again, to deal with this big enemy that everybody faces. Every leader faces it. Every rich person faces it. Everyone faces this enemy. And number one, you have to gently acknowledge the emptiness. That's the first thing that you have.
You can get discouraged a lot of ways, but the one surefire way to avoid discouragement, first of all, let's understand something. We're all participating in this thing called life, all of us. Life has ebb and flows, mountaintops, it's got valleys, it's got thunderstorms in it, earthquakes. This life, you stop expecting it to go smooth, because it ain't finna go smooth. The road to success is always under construction. This life ain't set up to be smooth.
Begin by recognizing your own feelings as well as your needs in that moment or that season of your life, even if challenging, trying to avoid dismissing yourself and what you feel, because oftentimes by human nature, we can have a tendency to do that. Just disregard how we're feeling and not be honest with ourselves about how we feel. And of course, you should never allow feelings to drive you, but at the same time, your feelings are real. So if you acknowledge that your feelings are linked to a loss you may have experienced, then sometimes you have to allow yourself time and space to grieve. And it's okay to grieve openly. You know, someone may ask, is feeling empty the same as being depressed? Again, I just want to say this again. Understand this. Depression is a mental health condition that involves a lot of different symptoms, including lacking energy and motivation, which is similar to the feeling empty inside. But again, when we talk about depression, one of the other symptoms is persistently feeling sad, feeling hopeless, sleeping too much or too little, not being able to focus, not being able to enjoy activities or the people around you, the people in your household, the people in your life, the people that mean the most to you, to the other extreme, feeling guilty or worthless. See, a feeling of emptiness or numbness could be another sign of depression, according to some psychotherapists, which, you know, it's like a gray area, right? But there are some differences. This kind of empty feeling comes with not caring about much, not being interested in things, not feeling fueled by anything in particular as you once were. Feeling empty is not always, again, a sign of depression. The only person who can diagnose your condition, please hear me, accurately is a mental health professional. But if you're experiencing emptiness, that's more like this gapping hole. So you acknowledge it. And again, be gentle with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be willing to address where you're at, what space you're in. Why? Because your life matters. We talk about this group matters, that group matters. Guess what? You matter. And so as a coach, I want you to remember that you're doing the best you can at any given moment. Feeling guilty is not uncommon, but it might stop you from seeking help. And let me tell you something, it's okay to get help. Hear me. I want you to begin by recognizing your own feelings as well as your needs. And don't feel bad about tending to yourself. And don't allow anybody else to make you feel bad about tending to yourself. Doing what I call self-care. Again, even if challenging, try to avoid. I can't say this enough. Try to avoid. Matter of fact, don't try. Purpose to avoid dismissing yourself and what you feel you need. For those, again, who may have lost a loved one, and the reason I'm on this, as I was preparing for this episode, this session with you, I've dealt with it in my own life. There's some people who have experienced divorce or some type of loss. I have counseled and coached people that have gone through terrible divorces. If you acknowledge that your feelings are linked to a loss you experience, again, consider allowing yourself time and space to grieve openly. Point blank. Again, I know this firsthand. I'll never forget when my mother transitioned, my uncle's transition. I went through probably 5 years where every year someone significant in my life transitioned. And I'm telling you, when my mom transitioned, that was like that was a blow to my gut because that was my friend, that was my girl. And then here recently, over the past year, because for those of you that don't know, I am a pastor. I've had people with me for over 20 years in the ministry. And some of those individuals who are dear and precious to me have transitioned. I experienced maybe the past 6 months, 7 months, every other month, someone that's been with me who are now in their latter years to transition. And so it's important that you understand that grief looks and feels different to everyone, and there are no right or wrong ways to do it. Once you've acknowledged your losses, you might go through different stages of grief. Maybe the loss involves someone leaving your life. Again, there's different types of losses. Leaving your physical life or, a connection that you had is now detached, that person moved away. And so there's an emotional, it's affected you emotionally. Again, I suggest that you do some self-talk. You start speaking to yourself with, compassion and care when you're attempting to explore where you're at, what space you're in, how you're feeling, and why you're feeling that way. For instance, you might say, it's been tough to feel so lonely. Or, you know what, you're right. You're right. I did need more love, and they just couldn't give me what I needed. Or I couldn't give them what they needed. Either way, it's okay. Either way, listen to me, whether you were not enough, they were not enough, or you felt you were enough, right? Or you felt like everything was fine, but for some reason there was this sudden departure, this certain breakup. It happened, and you have to learn how to be okay with that, even when you're not okay. Now let's flip the script. Let's flip the script. Feeling emotionally overwhelmed can be the issue. Again, this emptiness is a monster, and that's why I wanted to tackle this. When you lack the tools to handle complex emotions, it's tempting to shut them off and become indifferent. I've done this myself and know others who have as well. Since processing the emotions, I want you to understand this, was much harder than turning them off. For many, shutting down is a form of survival. Can you relate to this? But avoiding these feelings can make you feel empty. And that's why I'm telling you, you can't afford to avoid how you're feeling. And for the workaholic, for the individual that's grinding and hustling, which God never intended us to hustle, the go-getters who don't know how to slow down, I've been there. I'm often there. I'm just kind of wired like green light all the time. If you're experiencing burnout, you may feel completely drained and disengaged from the things that used to bring you a lot of joy. Here's what I've learned about burnout. Burnout is not just about work. This can happen in any aspect of your life, from your career to your personal relationships or responsibilities as a parent, etc., and it can leave you feeling defeated and unfulfilled. Yes, listen, lacking happiness, and I'm going to do an episode on happiness and what that looks like in the dynamics of happiness. But when you're lacking happiness, it can cause you to have a sense of emptiness, and oftentimes it's tempting to also start to neglect your own well-being. It's a vicious cycle that causes the unhappiness and results in these feelings of emptiness. If your reasons aren't listed here that I've gone over with you, remember that feeling empty can be experienced for various reasons. So it's important to remember that everyone's experience is unique and valid and different, including yours. And it's okay if, again, you're dealing with this. But if you want to deal with this emptiness, break out of your routine and do something unusual to bring about the life that God has placed on the inside of you, the love that God has placed on the inside of you, the greatness that's on the inside of you. There's a scripture that says, greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. Let me share something with you. There's greatness in you. And sometimes you need somebody to coach you through, somebody to help you rediscover that greatness, that excitement, that life, that love, right? That you were so passionately driven by. Also, I want to say this before I close. If this episode has helped you in some small way, or you're saying, hey, I need to have a one-on-one session. I need to dig a little deeper. I need to do some work in this area. I need to do some self-care. I need to get some help. Click the link in the box below and schedule a private session with me today. I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you experience the change you so desire in life, relationships, as well as your entrepreneurial endeavors. And I know I told you that there are two enemies. I believe at this point, I've shared a lot with you for you to chew on, for you to process, for you to digest. And so I'll share enemy number 2 with you in the next episode. Type in the bottom. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your takeaways. Again, would love to connect with you. Again, it's been a blessing to spend time with you today. If you would like to join my ABU Platinum Partners and have access to private content and participate in private monthly masterclass trainings, go to abetter-u.com and join today. Also, I have a masterclass coming up that you can experience firsthand and in person. So click the link below below. Make sure you're following me on Instagram, TikTok, where I share and drop a lot of gems on both platforms. Again, click the link below. See you next week. And thank you for tuning in. And make sure you share this with someone that you know may be in need of this life-changing information. God bless you. Until the next time.
Thank you for tuning in to A Better You program with Anthony McFarland. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow on your favorite podcast platform so that you never miss an episode. Thanks for listening.